Okay, so I got another video here. It's a little late. I probably shouldn't be filming. I should probably be in bed, but that's okay. Something's been bothering me about my Lightning OTF here recently, and I decided to open it up and investigate. And I'm going to go ahead and mention something here. I've replaced the springs and the hooks on this guy once already. In fact, I just replaced the hooks and the springs. Probably back in November, like mid-November, like maybe the second week in November. And keep in mind, well, don't keep in mind, I haven't mentioned it yet. I originally bought this knife back in October. Had this hooks fail. I got new hooks and springs probably back in November, and I'm having issues again. So the issue I noticed is that it was very hard to basically actuate the slide mechanism that propels the blade in and out, even with the blade being not engaged. It was hard, and I thought, well, that's weird. There's an awful lot of resistance. So this knife's clearly been disassembled. As you can see, I've got the screws out of it, and I wanted to investigate something. And in fact, I mean, what I could do, the camera won't pick up on the amount of resistance that it has, but maybe I can try. But maybe I can try to demonstrate that. But I noticed a problem right away. It's the front hook. The front hook is already misshapen. Okay? It should be straight down, but it's actually pointed forwards. It should be a 90-degree angle, and I would guess it's off by 15 degrees or so. I don't know if the camera is going to let us focus on that. It's not quite a 90 degrees. So because of that, this is my theory that because there's a slope, a little bit of an incline, it's popping this up. So this surface up here is now rubbing against this plate up here. And that's what's making it stiffer. Now I'm going to confirm my suspicion quickly by, unfortunately, this is a gift I was going to give to someone. I've not seen them yet. So this is pretty much the same knife blade. That is super snappy and smooth. I'm going to go ahead and disengage the knife. Yeah, that's super easy. Okay, that kind of confirms my suspicion. I do not want to disassemble this knife, but I want to get a visual confirmation that that front hook should be 90 degrees, but is not. I'm sorry, it is 90 degrees on this knife. Something I'm going to do, I like to deploy the blade and then release it so it just kind of floats. And it's in and out easily this way. The switch is easy that way. I don't know what it is about me. I sit and play with these knives constantly. I suppose that's part of it. But I guess I'm surprised I'm the only person that I know of that's talked about durability in a negative fashion. It seems like I really want to like these knives. In fact, I gave a bunch away for Christmas here recently. I don't know, I got a video up talking about that. That's actually where this red knife is supposed to be. I've got a couple of gifts I've not given out yet. So we're just going to go ahead and pop this open. Now, I didn't have the camera rolling earlier, but just the fact that I popped the shell off sprung the hook because of that not unnatural, that lack of a 90-degree bend. So I'm going to go ahead and pop this open, and I'll bet you this spring will stay right where it's supposed to. And I'm pretty sure it did. Yeah, it did. Okay. I feel like you can already see I'm getting stuff everywhere. If it was misshapen, hopefully this makes sense. If that was not quite a 90 degree, if it was at an angle like mine, it'll try to rise up. It'll work against the wedge and then come off where it's supposed to stay. And I believe that's why my knife is harder to move the switch, because of that 45 degree, or not 45, but let's just say it's a 75 or 80 degree bend when it should be 90. Or depending on which angle you're measuring from, maybe it's 100 degrees or 115 degrees, depending on which way you're measuring. So I will show you that I bet I can't even get this to hook without it popping apart. I could be wrong. So we put that there. Oh, and something else I've noticed today was these. I don't know what these are. We got these, of course, it wants to focus on everything but what's right in front of it. I don't know what these are for. These channels 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Does the other knife have them? Yes. Who knows? Could be part of the manufacturing process of how they hold it or something while they work the metal. Okay, so let's go ahead and try to hook this. I usually start at the bottom and pull, go to the top. It's already fighting me. This is getting my fingernails dirty. Yeah, it won't hook. So we're already having problems with this knife. So how can I fix that? Well, I hate to say it, but this is a design flaw. So I'm going to grip it. There you go. That's a good demonstration of how much the angle is actually off. So it should be 90 degrees. Still has quite a bit of strength left, surprisingly. I would say that's 90 right there. It might be like 92, 93 degrees. Okay. Well, I might be fine. The last time I had to replace the hook, and of course my $30 channel locks, or whatever, the vice grips will not unlock. I forgot about that. I need to oil these or something. Can't believe I spent that much money on those and they're junk. Okay, so now we're going to try to set this again. So here's the writing on the wall here. It is this. I was hoping that I happened to have a bad knife. My first hooks, my hands are getting filthy. My first hooks were, and then, by the way, I replaced the hooks and the springs. The springs weren't bad until I damaged them. I damaged them with heat, playing with the hooks, because I'm an idiot. But the hooks, basically the first hook failed. I'm sorry, the front hook failed. The first, I don't know, at first, and I fixed it. And it was more than what I've just done here. I've got a whole video dedicated to that, I think, somewhere on my channel. And I don't know, I might have 15 videos discussing knives and various other things. I don't have a whole lot to sift through. But maybe I never uploaded that video. I really don't remember. My apologies. But anyways, so the first hook failed, and I was able to fix that. But then the back hook failed in this exact same fashion. I lost that 90-degree bend. And because of that, I couldn't fix the back. We have a little more tolerance on the front for adjustment than we do on the back. So let's go ahead and piece this back together. I'm pretty sure that was why it was getting harder to move. Oh yeah, that's so much smoother. That's back to how it should be. So I guess I should be Loctiting this, but I might have actually thrown my Loctite away. At least the Loctite I had in the house, because I cut the package wrong and it leaked, and I was getting tired. I think that's half the problem with this table, is that Loctite was getting all over it. It was eating up the finish of the table. Plus I use the table like a workbench. That's probably a problem in itself. So we're just going to go ahead and throw these in here. There's probably some Loctite on the threads. I'm not sure if technically you can use Loctite repeatedly. I'd imagine that fresh liquid Loctite that is allowed to set in its new home in new thread scenario is probably the best, but I don't care at this point. I'm tired, it's late. I just wanted to quickly document my findings here. And I know I'm dancing around a couple of different ideas here, but basically what I feel like I've observed is the front hook has started to fail already. And I think that it's taken a little bit longer this time than it did the first time, because I'm playing with the knife less. Yep. So what's causing that? What's causing the hook to fail? Well, it's probably cheap metal. I don't know if it's the slapping of the blade out, or if it's the pulling of the blade back in that's causing that, or it could be a little bit of both. I don't know. I'm going to go ahead and piece this one back together real quick and put it away and act like I just didn't disassemble someone's gift again. I applied grease to the spring the first time I disassembled this knife. In fact, I'm pretty sure I made a video about that. The idea is that the grease quiets the spring down. It doesn't lubricate anything, but it sticks to the spring. And as far as I know, it's going to sit in there for a while and be fine. There's other substances you can put in there. You could probably pour some, well, almost anything in it that'll stick to it and basically just coat the springs. And you need something that will allow the springs to still be a spring, but just not make the sound and vibrate like crazy. Or vibrate like crazy and then make the sound, I guess. Because the sound drives me nuts. And not only is there a sound, but there's a feeling. That spring-like feeling, you can feel it like vibrate. And in one of these knives, I demonstrated that I'm pretty sure you can feel and hear the spring twang noise vibration scenario in your hand coming through the handle for about 2 seconds after the blade's been deployed or retracted. All right, so I'm going to wipe my fingerprints and trash off of this, put it back in the package like it never happened. I really do want to like these knives, and I guess I still do. I realize that what I'm doing, they probably weren't designed for constant use. And that's what I do. I play with them constantly. In fact, I've been trying to work with knives in my left hand, and it feels really weird, but I'm trying to do that. I'm right-handed, and I don't do anything with my left hand. So I've been using this in my left hand. I'm clipped to the inside of my left pocket, and I'm finding myself just playing with it constantly. Like I'm doing right here. Sometimes I'll switch back over to my right hand and essentially I think I'm wearing these hooks out. I don't know if I made my point clear earlier, but I feel like what we're dealing with here is not was not a fluke, was not a bad batch. I mean, I suppose it could be a big batch that are bad, but I feel like we're having the issue on this knife that I had, in the guts on this knife, just like I had on the other. And I suppose if you only got this out a couple of times a day, it'd probably last you years. But if you open and close the blade like I do, like sometimes 100 times a day, just for fun while you're sitting there watching a movie or whatever, they're not going to last. If they would make those hooks better out of a better material, then I think they'd be fine. In fact, I'm kind of tempted to research that and come up with my own hooks out of a better steel. So anyways, that's all I got.